We're back. Episode 44. Episode 44 of this year, which means 44 is Lewis Hamilton's number. We're at Brazil. It's the battle of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Your boy's winning his GP.
Yeah, some call it the Brazilian GP. I call it the Lewis Hamilton GP. Uh,
Oh my
I'm
God.
just, I'm just kidding, but I mean, dude's had some tremendous races at this track, and the Brazilian people love him. So I mean, might as well. You could probably call it that. And Mercedes is looking pretty strong as of late.
No, their form's coming up, and just looking at the previous stats from Brazil, it's either been Max or Lewis. So it's like, it's got to be one of those two. That I mean, it's obviously going to be Max, but Lewis is fighting to get his first GP to finally, maybe not break his record of never having a season without winning. Because if it's this year, I'm gonna shed a tear for him, and it's looking like it might be this year.
Yeah, I mean, so if we're being realistic, it's probably going to be this year, and he's probably not
Yeah,
winning the
probably.
race. But I want to have this little optimistic hope that he does get a win. But just I don't know, man. That the Red Bull's too good. It's too good. I don't know.
The Red Bull's too good. This track is kind of built perfectly for the Red Bull. It's got the straights that it's have are just long enough for the Red Bull to hit top speed and really show what it's about. The long chicanes, I mean, it almost gains speed coming out of the corners. So it's like it's I don't know. This track's built perfectly for the Red Bull, and
Is there
it's really
really
not
a
going to struggle.
is there really an area that the Red Bull's not good at, honestly?
No, I've been trying to find it because at the beginning of the year it was glaringly obvious that they had a problem with durability.
Hmm.
So it's like with them having a problem with durability and being able durability and reliability, them completely shutting that door and focusing on okay, they've got a totally good car now. It's fast as hell. It's now reliable. It's great on tire deck. We picked the right setups for it, so we're not further just pummeling the car into the ground.
Yeah.
So it's like it's I don't know. It's really hard to poke holes in Red Bull's strategy and car right now.
Yeah, I don't think you should even try. That car is amazing, lightning quick. But yeah, we're saying Mercedes, they've been fighting back. Their car's looking good, but uh I don't know. We have a third party here, Ferrari, and lately they haven't been doing so good. What are
I
your
mean,
thoughts there?
lately, I'm. Is it lately?
I saw a
Is
post
it?
and it was like missing since Australian GP and it was Ferrari. I was like,
Oh,
oh, come on.
was that their last race win?
Probably. They haven't won much. Remember when Binotto said there's no denying that we or I'm not ruling out that we could come and win the last 10.
Yeah, well, you can go ahead and rule it out, there, guy. Like, I'm not sure what to say to that, honestly, but I don't know. It's
Summer break, it felt so long ago.
it, it's a very. If you could have told me that this is the current lineup we were looking at the beginning of the year, some of this you could have been right, but if you would have told me that Alpine was going to be basically, I mean, they're not a for sure fourth, but they definitely look like the fourth fastest car, at least on the grid. Now, if you would have told me Aston Martin would have scored 49 points after the season they had last year, I would have slapped you silly. Like,
And the start they had this year, let's be honest.
bro, they were literally ninth for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like they just exploded that bubble to 49 points behind Alfa Romeo at 53, which that actually is kind of exciting because man, it's not exciting though because there's no way it's I mean Alfa Romeo just have to like keep their position because they're not catching McLaren. They're almost 100 points behind McLaren.
Yeah, they just have to do what they can to keep where they're at. And I mean, that's good enough. I mean, it's honestly disappointing. They should have been way higher this year, I think. And Haas also,
Valtteri Bottas, yeah.
but it is what it is, right? And maybe they fix their reliability next year and they have a stronger car, so we'll see. I
Yeah,
think reliability is their issue.
towards the yeah, you're right. Towards the end of the year, even the middle of the year, it was very rare that we would see both Alfa Romeos cross the finish line. At least one of them would, and it's just, hey, flip a coin. Who wants the bad luck this week?
Yeah.
Like, that's a little tough. But I don't know, man. We have Brazil this week. We're gonna get into race predictions, but low key, kind of want to talk about this track because, I
We
mean, I
we
don't know if you
asked
saw the news.
we made
Lewis
this S
Hamilton's
tier,
now
right?
a Brazilian citizen.
Yeah, he I thought he was a citizen last year. They made him honorary
I think he
after.
was.
But no, yeah, this track, it's a really great track and it has a long history in the sport. We did a little Twitter thread about it and like
Hell yeah.
the track, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It was some good
I
info,
thought
you
it
know.
was sick.
Maybe we'll do some more, but we wanted to try something different. Yeah, but this track, you know, it's raced throughout the 70s, 80s. Well, not really so much in the 80s. And here's like another fun fact is in the 80s, this was the last time they had the ground effects that you see in the cars today. And they also had a lot of issues back then with porpoising on the track, and that's one of the reasons why they got rid
Wait,
of.
for real?
Yeah, yeah, because
I
yeah, they
didn't think,
had.
dude. I didn't think those cars could get that. Like, don't get me wrong. I know they were fast,
Yeah.
but they're not like today's cars fast. I didn't think they could ever reach a speed where porpoising like that would be an issue.
Well, I don't know if it was necessarily. No, I mean it was, but the track
Yeah.
also, the track that they're racing at used to not be very well finished to the surface of it, so that
That's
also like
crazy.
you see when they go on these street circuits sometimes where the cars are lot more unstable because it's not as well manicured, I guess you could say, and
Yeah, the tarmac is just all like chewed up and everything.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
you know back in when they first had the track, they were switching between. Uh, Interlagos and a race that was in Rio de Janeiro, and they would switch
Ooh,
each year so they could work on the track. And
that's actually it's genius.
yeah, I mean it was good, but I don't know. They really didn't have like a solid great track for a while until like the 90s when they just went all out on this track, and you know we've been racing there since then. So
Yeah,
should
well, he definitely won. Like, whoever designed that track is a genius because we have it S tier for a reason.
yeah, yeah.
And that turn one, bro, that downward sloping turn one into the next chicane section.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking
Right
about.
off the straight, bro.
I know.
That's top three turn ones that I want to see this year, and I'm pretty stoked that it's this weekend.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Laguna Seca a little bit. Like there's like a on the back side of the track, there's like a little. It's pretty gnarly, like downhill, and it's like into. I don't know. It's a little gnarly section, but
Bro, sweet Jesus.
yeah.
Let's see here. Let me see what I got here.
What you got cooking
Let's
up?
see what I got here. Let me pull up. Let's see here. I'm just kidding. No, with this Brazilian GP track, I mean, let's see. We got sector 3, which is turns 15, 14, 13, 12, the back sector. We have sector 2, which is turns 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And we have sector 1, which is basically just a full straight into the S section chicane, which is it's an elevation drop, and then
Yeah,
it flattens out into a full back straight into a even longer chicane. I mean, we'll put it up. I'll put it up in the clip right now. But the over the head top map of this track just seems like a slightly more complicated Monza, but it's just built for just raw speed.
yeah. We love a fast track just like Coda, and yeah, I think we're gonna see an exciting race. And they're doing the sprint race again, so I mean, what better track
Totally,
to have a sprint race?
completely slipped my mind that this was the last sprint. I forgot about the sprint races for the year.
You
I,
know, honestly,
aren't they upping it to like 6 or 7 next year?
I don't know, but I don't really enjoy the sprint races as much.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I think it takes away from the race weekend. And we talked about that before on one of our older
I
episodes.
think I think they're exciting like one-offs or something, but anything besides that, it's I don't know. It just gets boring to watch, and the way like the fact it gets confusing of who starts where, which section matters, disqualifying. on Friday the day before matter, or does the sprint race matter on Saturday?
You know
Or
what? I bet for the viewership, if you're actually at the race, you get a mini race before the race, so
I
it's probably
mean,
really fun
yeah,
to
that's
watch.
fair. The weekend, a sprint race weekend is probably like pretty sick to be a part of.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
good.
I was just gonna say you got practice, you got qualifying, and qualifying is amazing to watch in real life. Like, dude, they're
I
so
mean, yeah,
fast.
every single car is pushing at the tether of the limit.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got a sprint race the next day, so, and they're all on soft, so they're gonna be hauling ass again. And then you got the real
That's
race
so
on Sunday.
sick, actually.
Yeah, actually,
Did
I
we
see
just
why
talk
they did
ourselves
it.
into?
I see
Yeah.
why they did it now, but I don't know, man. I feel like,
I don't know. It took a larger sample size for me to understand. Like, hey, I don't know if a sprint race is it.
yeah, that's fair.
Like when I like watching it for the first couple times, I'm like, okay, this is sick. But then when you realize that, okay, there's maybe four more of these scattered throughout the season, they kind of like, depending on each person's situation of a sprint race, or the real race, or how to qualify or not how to qualify in a sprint weekend. It like, okay, say Max and Lewis, just like last year. Well, say if they had that sprint race this weekend, that means after a weekend going into Abu Dhabi, they would have somehow be tied up. Like, that is too much variable and implication for me.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't know. Now I don't even know what I think anymore about the sprint races, but there's one thing I do know about, and that's my race predictions for this weekend. But I'm gonna let you go first on this.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna say Lewis Hamilton does not break the streak, and he does get his first GP win this weekend. I think Red Bulls do. They're coasting way too hard. They have zero competition right now. They're coasting way too hard right now. And and drivers, yes, but constructors, it's a little tighter. But
They're locked in.
they're locked in. So it's like, I think they're due for a little bit of off weekend. They had too perfect of a last weekend. I
And
think
Coda,
Lewis
they had a
Hamilton.
little struggle there.
I agree. I agree. I think Lewis Hamilton gets his first win of this year and proves that Mercedes did some. Yes, they did something wrong at first, but they regrouped, got the car back on track, and came out with a W for the season. I think it's going to
Okay.
be Lewis Hamilton 1, Max Verstappen 2, of course. I think they battle the whole time, and it's going to be by a slim margin, maybe a few seconds here and there. But I have third place going to Charles Leclerc.
That makes me happy.
Yeah. You fucking spot.
I like that. I like to hear that. Um, yeah, I mean, you kind of took the words right out of my mouth. I think, mm, I can see it
Oh
going
no.
two ways. I could see Lewis getting the win and then tying the records of Michael Schumacher with most wins at the track, and I could also see Max just dominating again. And
Yeah, it's the
I
safest
think
answer we've had all year.
I think the big variable here is how does the Ferrari stack up? Uh, because right now we think Mercedes has surpassed them. I'm not quite sold on that yet. I think that Ferrari might be closer than they think to how fast the Mercedes is and pace and everything. And I think the Red Bull's still out of reach. So in my logical scenario, I think it's going to be uh, Max, Leclerc, then Lewis. But in my like hopeful, I
And your
kind of want the
plums.
I like the story. I like the story behind this one, and I like the Lewis Max Leclerc one because I don't see Leclerc finishing ahead of Max.
Yeah, and maybe at the beginning of the year, obviously, I feel way more comfortable going like, yeah, it's literally because what the first 3, 4 races, it was a
He
complete
was,
coin flip
yeah.
toss up of, hey, Leclerc, Max is going to win this race. It's who has the better pit stop and who can make the first
Whose
set of
car
tires last
finishes the
longer.
race?
Uh, whose car finishes the race?
Yeah,
But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting weekend. It's going to be an interesting track. Um, this is going to be a short one. This one's focused purely on just this weekend, and we're going to get into some news because I do kind of want to end it with this little banter. Haas is announcing a driver this week.
I know. I saw that, and I have to say, God, I hope it's not Hulkenberg.
Dude, I respect Hulkenberg so much, but he's even more mid than mid-con, dude. He's like, there's nothing exciting about that Haas. You need a shakeup.
I mean, I don't hate the idea of them getting a veteran that can consistently get them points, especially because if you look at how Mick has done more damage to the team than he's brought success to
I
them.
mean, yeah, I get, yeah.
But replacing Mick for Hulkenberg, I don't think you're doing anything to make your team better.
I mean, man, it's like you got like not the sharpest tool in the shed, trading it in for another dull tool. Like I don't know. Like, bro, trust me,
If they went and got
Hulkenberg's
like a
safe.
if they went and got Pierre Gasly, then I'd be like, okay, that's a good
I'd have been
move.
like, hey,
That makes
hey,
sense.
Haas might be here, bro.
Yeah,
But no, it's freaking Hulkenberg. He's raced for so long and hasn't even touched like a third place. Hasn't even been close.
yeah.
Like, it's like, dude, I'm not saying you have to like produce, but at the same time, I am fucking saying that because
It's
it's like,
F1,
bro,
baby.
like it's cutthroat. We're seeing Danny Rick get that, like, not get that seat. I
Yeah,
wanted Gunther to come and pursue Danny Rick a little bit.
for sure. I mean, that would have been exciting, but uh,
Yeah, man.
we'll get into some more news week. Maybe we could do another short episode this week, and talk go into more depth. But
No, we'll do another one, bro, because I like these short ones. This has been the Brazil GP. Chris, sign us off.
yeah, you know what the deal is. If you've been listening to us, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, freaking YouTube, everywhere. Teal Up F1, the Lockup Podcast. You know what it is. We're out here, and we'll catch y'all later.